All right, folks, we're doing it. Logic 11. I'm updated. I'm ready to dive in. So I don't really have a plan here. I'm going to try to write something using the new AI session player update. Seeing as I'm not much of a keys player, I think it's probably a good place to start. Let's do it. Okay, so they give you something to work with here right out the gates. Let's see what's happening. So we're going to have to do something about this rather boring chord progression. I was thinking something more like up-tempo and funky. So I believe that we can punch in some chords manually and let the session player do its thing. So maybe I'll start at bar 1, and I like that we can just MIDI input the chord. Okay, so just starting with a E minor 7th. Let's come to bar 2. Just leaving MIDI input on. Maybe I'll move to the F sharp minor 7th. Just do some kind of like ascending chord structure here. Coming over to bar 3, we'll do like a G major 7th kind of thing. And bar 4, let's add one more chord. Come back to the F sharp. Okay, so now what does that sound like? Kind of cool. Definitely cooler than it was before. All right, so let's copy this out to 8 bars. And make sure that we copy these chords out too. I'm gonna bring the complexity down. I just want this to be simple. Take the fill amount down too. That sounds kind of cool. I wonder if maybe we bring another keys player into this session. So let's bring another one in and let's change the patch. So this is kind of interesting. I got our second session player going through this electric keys patch, brought the complexity way down, and it sounds like this. See if it jives with our piano here. And maybe we'll put the electric keys through a bit of verb. I'm going to bring the fill amount down as well. Okay, that's pretty much perfect. I find that even the slightest move of this complexity fader kind of randomizes everything. It just totally switches up the performance and creates something totally brand new, which is interesting. This sounds pretty good. Just really simple and open. So let's bring a drummer into the session. Definitely don't want pop rock. Let's maybe try indie disco. See what it comes up with. I don't love it. It doesn't sound that great. I don't know if that's just the pattern sounds kind of lifeless or if it's just like the sound of the drums itself don't excite me. Let's boost up the complexity like a lot just to see what happens. Okay, well that's kind of cool. I mean, I guess that's, you know, a little bit more interesting. Maybe we change this drum sound. Let's maybe try the addictive Fairfax kit. So the MIDI's not quite lining up where it's supposed to. You know what? I'm not so sure about our session drummer. It's not that it sounds bad, but I think I'd just rather play it myself. So I'm gonna get rid of this actually. I think we'd have a little bit more fun with the session bass player. And yeah, let's get some disco slap going. Okay, what does this sound like? Let's bring the intensity down a bit. All right, so the slap sounded pretty cool. I'm gonna bring up that Fairfax kit again. I'm not gonna use the session player though. Let's just pull up a software instrument. I've got a few different kits that might work. I'll just use the Fairfax kit. I'm gonna bring down the room mic and the verb. And let's throw some Volv compressor on these drums. And I'm gonna jump on the Roland kit here and just throw some ideas down. One thing I'm gonna do before that though, is throw in a little disco loop here from Splice just to kind of help me keep the beat. I'm just gonna use this all over beat here. Just gonna quickly time stretch that and copy those out. So yeah, that was kind of fun, jamming along with my AI bass player. There's a few other Logic updates that I haven't had a chance to take a look at yet. Specifically want to take a look at or take a listen to Chroma Glow. This is the new saturation plugin. So I've got this Chroma Glow loaded up on my stereo out channel. Let's see what's up. Let's try the magnetic setting. Take the mix down like to 50% or something. Okay, nice graphics. Doesn't really sound that great. Let's try Modern Tube. So Modern Tube's got a bit more warmth to it. Sort of nice. And how about Squeeze? What's that all about? Go to Hard Press. Definitely does something interesting to the bass. Yeah, so adding some cool attitude. Doesn't sound too bad. Definitely going to experiment with this more on like an instrument track level. Might be nice to add a little Chroma Glow to the drums or even the vocals. Oh, and one other thing I haven't checked out yet either is this stem splitter. So I just threw a couple of silly vocals from the Logic loops into this session. I think the best way to test the stem splitter is if there's vocals in the mix. They sound like this. Baby. And maybe what I'll do is throw a little bit of reverb on these vocals as well. See how well the stem splitter deals with that. So I'll just throw a bit of Valhalla on here. Baby, baby. Okay, and I'll just bounce a section of this real quick. Okay, so just brought the bounce into the session, tentatively called Logic Banger. So if we right click on this bounce track and we go to processing, we select stem splitter. Let's do it, see what happens. Okay, moment of truth, here it goes. Let's solo these vocals. Let's see how these turned out. Baby, baby, oh. Okay, so there's a few digital artifacts in there. Not perfect, but not terrible. Let's listen to these drums. Okay, so able to separate the Oliver loop pretty well. Getting like a hint of that bass in there, but it's, it's pretty good. Started off pretty good, but it got like weirdly filtered out around here. Let's listen to the bass. Definitely lacking like a lot of definition, but again, it's no worse than the service that I used online last year to do this for me. It's probably better actually. Okay, other. I guess this is like piano and keys. I'm not totally blown away by the stem splitter. I wasn't expecting to be though. It's not bad considering we added some pretty gnarly processing to that track and it was very overcompressed and a lot of saturation on it. Okay, so my honest thoughts about this update. I know I didn't go into a lot of detail in this video. This is a short video. There's a few other updates I didn't even talk about. Mostly I just wanted to check out like the session player thing. I think that's what's got people most excited. And I guess we're kind of seeing the overall direction that Apple's taking Logic. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. I'm just reading a Reddit thread about the update and, it's quite polarized. I could see folks who are kind of, just getting into music, are new to production, being excited by like the session players thing. I think that would be fun as someone who like doesn't have a lot of experience with instruments. And, I got to say that I'm impressed with the technology. It is a pretty cool update. For me, I don't think it's something that I'm going to adopt into my workflow right away, simply because, for the most part, I just enjoy playing the instruments myself. With the keys, it's kind of fun for me because like I don't play the keys. So, if I could just like get an AI to do like a pretty decent job at accompanying me on the keys, like that's kind of interesting. But even then, I need very specific control of like what's happening. And one of the cool things is that I can take this like AI keys track and I can just convert it to MIDI. From there, I can tweak it, to my liking. So that's kind of nice. It does somewhat feel like Apple rushed this update. There's a few like really simple things that I'm just so surprised that they haven't updated at this point. Like for example, one of the things that I just can't stand in Logic is the fact that I can't search plugins. Like it would be such a simple thing to fix. And it's handy to have your like top 5 most recently used plugins at the top of the menu. But I like just cannot stand having to scroll down through this menu and like find the plugin I need to use every time. It's just so annoying. Like how hard would it be really to just add in a search bar at the top of this menu so that I don't have to do that? There's a few other things like that I just feel like Apple should address before they do the next update. That being said, I'm still a fan of Logic. I still use Logic, but it's interesting because I've been using Cubase like 50% of the time now. And I find my workflow in Cubase has actually become easier, especially with like orchestral composing. I keep on meaning to do a video about that very subject, but I feel like that's also like opening up a big can of worms and I don't really want to get into it at the same time. No DAW is perfect at the end of the day, Logic included. But I am really curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll wrap it up there. So thanks for listening, guys. Hit that like button for me if you enjoyed this. Throw your thoughts down below, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.